All right, this is Chazak Eliyahu Yasharal here on behalf of Just a Word. And today we begin another of our teachings. I want to say a shout out to all those who will be here with us, those who will be watching afterward. Shabbat Shalom to you all. And want to give thanks to the Most High for his mercies and pray that his words will go out and that it will not be yours truly who is speaking, but that he will use me as a servant to speak his words. Today we'll be looking at the renewed mind and the kingdom of the Most High. The renewed mind and the kingdom of the Most High. All right, let me get this thing going. Yes. All right, so let's get this on justaword.tv. That's a little housekeeping here, and that should be it. All right, so here we go. Just a word, just a word. All right, so let's see now. I don't know. Yeah. All right, so yes, the renewed mind and the kingdom of the Most High. Now, this is a topic that most people might not know exactly what we are coming with, but we have all, as long as you're listening to this thing is too loud here. Sorry, let me just take it down. Mic check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Check 1 2. All right, so most of us who are listening to this, we were brought up and nourished in the ways of Babylon. We were born, and from the day we were born into this sinful world. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. When we came into this world, the sinful world took us, grabbed us, and started dictating to us from the day we were born. Our parents were modeled, they were indoctrinated in the ways of Babylon. Yeah, they were indoctrinated in the ways of Babylon. And so what they taught us the ways of Babylon. Indeed, the word tells us that the parents must teach the children. But we were brought into a system whereby it's not the parents that's teaching the children. It is the schools, the state, the governments that are teaching the children. And so from the children were young, going into the preschool, the teacher has a globe on her desk. That is just one thing, just example of indoctrinating. To indoctrinate us against the words of the scriptures that tell us quite clearly that the world is not a globe. So we were brought into lies. We were molded into lies. So we are in the lies called school, and we were nourished up in the arms of the government, who of course is led by Hasatan, indirectly led by Hasatan, through, in our time, through the United Nations. All right? Through the United Nations, we have everything coming down to the different countries. And we have one order coming down. For some years now, they dictate what we do, what we say. So we are given their education, and their education, of course, is against the order of the Most High. It goes against the way and the will and the words of the Most High. So we were shaped in this lie. Satan, the deceiver, the father of lies, the prince of error, who is the God of this world, has us in a world of lies. So when we start coming into the ways of truth, many of us just take the truth, but we don't realize that we are still living a lie. We are still conformed to the lie. As long as we are in what is called Babylon, their mercantile and religious system, then we are under the control of Hasatan. So when we start getting truth, many of us get truth and we believe and we hear and we prove it to be true. But guess what? Those how many years of indoctrination and molding by the system has us in a sinful predisposition. We are predisposed to sin. So even when we come into truth, we are still predisposed to sin, which is why so many of us find it very difficult to let go of sin. And so that's why some people tell you, oh, we have to sin. We all have to sin. We all have sinned and come short. Because they want to fit in to the system. As long as you fit into the system, you are always going to sin. So that is why they have to say, we can't help sinning. So, and they do reverse engineering. We can't stop sinning. So in order to live in this system, we have to sin. So all have sinned and come short. So we all have to sin. So, but that's the opposite. The Most High wants us out of the system because he has given the earth into the hand of the wicked. He wants us out of the system. He does not condone us staying here and sinning. He says, flee out of their midst. So the deeper you are in the system, if you are in their companies, especially the bigger companies, if you're in their school system, if you're working in the system, then you are under the power of the system. You're under the power of Babylon. You're under the power of Satan. And as long as you're under that power, sin is going to have a hold over you. Okay? But our minds can be reprogrammed. Yes? Hope is not lost. The mind can be reprogrammed. When the mind is reprogrammed, the mind will reject the very system that programmed us in the first place. In other words, you cannot be reprogrammed and still love the system. If you still love the system, it means you have not been reprogrammed. Your mind has not been renewed. All right? Your mind has to be renewed from the system of sin, because this system, this Babylonian system, this world that we live in, is designed to make us sin. It is designed to take us to the lake of fire. No two ways about it. Everything about it is evil, mixed with good at times, but in the end, evil. Okay? So, our minds have to be transformed away from this system, away from loving this system, away from loving the things that the system has to offer, the material things and the everything that it has to offer, because it's a system based on materialism, of course, and then you have to go to their schools. You go to their schools, you go to their work, you get to get materialism for your family. In the old system, the system of the Most High, you had your land, and you farmed the land. Go ahead.
Are you recording?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
All right, let me record it anyway. All right, like how you say it. Let me just record it. All right. So in the old system, as I was saying, you had your land and you farmed, and whatever supporting thing that is to do with that system of husbandry, that was what is there. But Babylon, as we said in some time before, set up their system of occupations. And these occupations, of course, are designed to get us to fall into the system of sin and to so transgress against the Most High. And we're speaking this week again about the occupation in the medical industry and how they were set up in order to perpetrate Babylon's sorcery. And so that is another aspect of it, of course. And so we are going to look today at the process of the renewing of the mind, because this is an encouragement to us to let us know that we do not have to be sinners. We do not have to end up being sinners. We do not end up have to be saying, we all have sinned and fall short. We all have to sin. We all have that. All right? We can break free from the system. And when we break free from the system, then we can truly walk in righteousness before the Most High. Now, we're going to give you some harsh realities at the start, and then we're going to give you the good things afterwards. So the harsh realities, because I'm aware that there are believers who are sensitive and who say that we teach hard things, etc. The hard things are going to come at the start, and then we continue, because the hard things are absolutely necessary. This is not an easy walk. This is not a... Christianity has made us believe that this walk is a simple ABC, simple like a walk that you can be religious and you can go to your church or your assembly and then you... No, this walk is not so. And if you have been following us, you must realize this walk is a walk whereby you give up on everything of this world. We were reading the book of Adam and Eve, and we saw and understood that Adam and Eve were fallen from another dimension into this dimension. This is the dimension of darkness. And they tried everything. Adam even killed himself when he saw this place that where we are in. So this place is nothing, but Satan has exalted it to make us believe that it is something. And so we go a-whoring after this world, not knowing that we should reject it in preference for the world that is to come. And so in rejecting it, we have to have the mindset to welcome death. We have to have the mindset that we are going to die rather than to do certain things. All right? Because we have our mind set on the things to come, the world that is to come. We believe in the resurrection of the dead, and we believe that he has prepared a place for us. And so we believe that this existence that we have is nothing compared to that which is to come. So the question is, are you prepared to welcome death? Because you have to be. If your mind is not renewed, you're not going to be prepared to welcome death. If your mind is not renewed, you are not going to be prepared to welcome death. Read, please, Revelation 12, 10 to 11.
Could you please share it?
Oh, sorry. Revelation 12, 10 to 11.
Mama, go into the...
Oh, this thing is... Oh. Are you hearing? Are you seeing it?
Yes, I see it now.
Yeah.
All right. And I heard a loud voice saying in Shamayim, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our Lord and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Lord day and night.
No, this is speaking about the end times, the days of now, the latter days, which are now. And it says in verse 11,
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death.
this is it. They loved not their lives unto the death. They did not fear death. They did not love their life to the point that they feared death. Now, this has to be what we believe in. If we are not ready to die, then it means then that our mind is not renewed, because we have to reach a point where it says in Romans 8:36 below the screen, Ephraim, Romans 8:36.
It stopped sharing.
No, it's at the bottom of this. It's at the bottom of the screen below where you see me.
As it is written,
you can't see it.
Yeah, I was reading it on the screen there.
Go ahead.
As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all day long, and we are counted as accepted for
as sheep for the slaughter.
Yes.
All right. So as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. This has to be our mindset. Our mindset is like we are sheep for the slaughter. We know sheep going to slaughter. You have a whole herd of sheep, and they are being slaughtered, and one will go after the other. They will not hesitate. They will not turn back. They will not see the danger ahead and turn back. They go straight to the slaughter. This is our call in the new covenant, to be accounted as sheep for the slaughter. And we were speaking the other day in our group thing, and people were talking about getting guns in the end time to protect ourselves, etc. And we were telling people that if we are to follow Hamashiach and the teachings of the apostles, then we have to account ourselves as sheep for the slaughter, not there getting guns to protect ourselves. So, first things first, we have to lay it out. We have to be willing to die. Are you willing to die right now for righteousness' sake? For righteousness' sake, that's the important thing. Not willing to just die for any foolish. For righteousness' sake. So, it is laying out the cards as it is. Now, it is things like these that we preach and people say they are hard. Hard, but it is the truth. All right? So, here's another harsh reality. Reward for the faithful, lake of fire for the faithless. A harsh reality. Tehillim 101, verse 6.
Could you share it?
Yeah, I'm coming. Psalms 101. I'm going to do it right on this because it takes too long when it goes the other way. Go ahead.
101 verse. Did you share it?
It's on this. It should be on the screen. Isn't it on the screen?
Okay, I say, mine eyes shall be up upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall save me.
So his eyes are upon the faithful of the land. These are they that will dwell with him. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. Very important and very powerful verse here from King David, writing under inspiration of Ruach HaKadosh. His eyes shall be upon the faithful, those who have faith, those who have emunah, those who believe. They will dwell with him. And the faithful, of course, will be those who walk in a perfect way. He shall serve me. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier, that the religious will tell you that we all have sinned and fallen short. This is saying that it is those who walk in a perfect way, those who don't say they sin and fallen short. And so the onus is on us to try and strive to walk in a perfect way. So we're going to show you that walking in a perfect way is not possible unless our mind has been renewed. And it's common sense. If from we were born, we were programmed into a sinful system by the God of this world, we can conclude then that something has to happen to turn us away from this system in order to overcome it. Okay? Where am I? All right, so what's the next one? Revelation 2, 8 to 11. Reward to the faithful. Revelation 2, 8 to 11. Read, please.
And unto the angel of the assembly in Smyrna write, These things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, that thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Bragazak? It's like he just froze. Okay, we'll be back.
Ephraim.
Yes, Bragazak. I think you fell off.
Yeah, the current went. Power. So can you?
Which was dead and is alive.
So
I know thy word.
No. Ephraim.
Yes, Bragazak.
Oh, it's the other one. I'm coming.
Okay.
Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer.
Still not
Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall not be thou faithful unto death, and I will.
He's coming.
Okay. You are muted.
El Pedro, wake up. All right, sorry about that. We just had a power cut.
Okay,
All right.
here we are. Sorry about that.
All right. So where were we? All right. I understand, El Pedro. Where were we? Revelation 2, 8 to 11. Go ahead, please. At verse, where were you? Verse 10?
I was at verse 10.
Okay, go ahead.
Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee crown of life.
Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. This is what it's saying. They love not their lives unto the death. Our walk, let me tell you people, our walk is not religion, especially us, the end time saints. Our walk is not religion. Our walk is a giving up of our lives. It's a sacrifice. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. I'm going to look at that as well. It is a sacrifice. It is as real as it gets. I can't tell you anything else. It's just the truth. It has to be a sacrifice. We have to be willing to give up our life. And that is why there were so many, there were millions of believers in the first few centuries who died. Because they died giving up their lives. And they were faithful unto death. They took these words seriously. And they were faithful unto death. It says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So without being faithful unto death, there's no crown of life for us. Okay? And he went on to say in verse 11, I'm giving you the stark realities of our emunah, because there are people here who are lukewarm and cold and are just sleeping and just going through the paces, waiting on they think is salvation. And it is not salvation. We are not really aligned with the word. We have to accept that. And the past few teachings have been showing us that. We are not aligned with the word. Many of us are just religious. We have not been converted. Our minds have not been renewed. Verse 11, please.
He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the assemblies. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death.
He that overcometh. Sarah didn't put these two side by side. Revelation 2:11 and this one. He overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. And here it's telling you, be faithful unto death. That's the only way you overcome. That's the only way. So if we are in Babylon, we have been grown up, nurtured in Babylon. Many of us are so comfortable in this place. Many of us are so comfortable going through the paces, going through religion, thinking that we are on the right path. No, you have to be up if you don't hate this place. If you don't earnestly want to get out of this place, then something is wrong. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. And we're going to look at the second death. Very important. The second death. So, second death, it is the faithful who will partake of the first resurrection. Those who are in the first resurrection will not partake of the second death. That means those who are in the first resurrection will be those who did not love their lives unto the death and would have been faithful unto death. Listen to me very carefully. I want you to listen to me very carefully. Look at me. If we have not partaken of the first resurrection, if we did not, if we loved our lives unto the death, if we were fearful of dying for righteousness' sake, then we shall not partake. We shall partake in the second death. And we know the second death is a lake of fire. As believers, we have to have the mindset of righteousness, holiness over life. We have to be willing to give up our lives. Revelation 20 verse 6. Well, let's give you the stark realities. Then we're going to give you the good part of it. All right? Give you the bad first, and then we give you the good to lift you back up. Those who are concerned. Verse 6.
Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power. But they shall be priests of Aloha and of Hamashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
Yeah. So those who take part in the first resurrection, those who didn't love their lives unto the death, those who are willing to die for righteousness' sake, die for the name of Yahusha, those who hated Babylon, those who hate this world and can't wait to get out of this world, the second death will have no power over them. They shall be priests of Aloha and of Hamashiach and shall reign with him 1,000 years. No, it doesn't say anything about anybody else reigning for the 1,000 years. And let's go up some more to get more understanding in verse 4 and 5. These are those who did not love their lives unto the death, and we know that we are in the time of the mark of the beast. So this is speaking directly to us. So let us please listen and see those who will overcome. Your believers, they are sitting comfortably in Babylon. Oh, we're going to stay. Oh, yeah. Let's see what it says. Revelation 20 verse 4.
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of Aloha, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads, or in their heads, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years.
This is the people who take part in the first resurrection. Notice something about them. They were beheaded. For the witness of Yahusha and for the word of Aloha. They did not worship the beast. What does that mean? They did not love this present world and the powerful kingdom that is upon the face of this world. The beast, NATO, led by the United States and its allies. The seven heads, the beast of seven heads. The G7 nations that lead NATO. They did not worship the beast. They did not hesitate to come from under the power of the beast. They did not want to live and work in the midst of the beast. They didn't want to have anything to do with the beast. They did not look to the beast as being their savior, because we have to remember what it means. Let's go. Matthew chapter 8. I didn't intend to put this in there, but let's go. To show what it means to worship the beast. Matthew 8 verse 2. Read it, please.
And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Master, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean.
Is there anything else, anything here, Ephraim, that says he bowed down to him and worshiped him as a God or as Elohim or as Alua? Is there anything here that says that?
No.
It says he worshipped him, saying, Master, if thou wilt, you can make me clean. His faith is in him that he can make him clean. If our faith is in the system, if our faith is in the beast, that the beast can deliver us, the beast can provide for us, the beast can heal us, the beast can that, then we worship the beast. Let's go back to it. And behold, came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Master, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. People, we have to understand this. So when it says he did not worship the beast, we have to understand that it is not an idol that you put up there and somebody worshiping. It is believing the beast to be your deliverer, your provider, not willing to depend on the Most High for your provision and for your help. Which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. But hear this, verse 5.
But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
So what he's telling you indirectly, those people who do not have the willingness or have the heart and mind to die and ready to die for righteousness. Those who are not willing to give up their souls, yes, they are not going to
Yes.
partake in the 1,000-year reign. Well, this is very serious. I don't know if you get anything else. Anyone gets anything else from it? Tell me if you get anything else while we're going ahead. Precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. This is what it is saying to me. I don't know if it's saying something differently to you. But it says in verse 6 again, we continue, we used it before. Let's continue. Go ahead.
Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power. But they shall be priests of Aloha and of Hamashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
All right. So, reign with him 1,000 years. Again, it is re-emphasizing it. The reward is for the faithful. The reward is for the faithful. Okay? And what about you have the faithful and you have the fearful? Because fear is the opposite of faith. Emunah. So, what is going to happen to the faithless? Lake of fire for the fearful. Revelation 21, verse 8.
But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
So we have the fearless, which is the faithful, who are going to reign with Hamashiach the 1,000 years. But these people here, in verse 8, are not going to. They are going to have their part in the lake of fire. That's really serious. A lot of us can't understand how serious this thing is. And when we speak them here, people object to it and they say, yeah, well, Kazakh, why are you trying to make us scared? I'm not trying to make you scared. It's the truth. I can't say otherwise but the truth. But the fearful, I will be doing a great disservice if I don't point this out. But the fearful, what does fearful mean? It comes from the Greek delos, which means it comes from dios, which is dread. It's the opposite. It means timid. That is by implication faithless, fearful. So those who don't have emunah, those who are timid, afraid to die, wanting to partake in this system, wanting to continue in this world, not willing to give up their lives for Hamashiach, because Hamashiach gave up his life for us unto salvation. No, we are not willing to give up our lives as he did when we were called to walk as he walked. 1 John 2:6, he that saith he abideth in him ought himself so to walk, even as he walked. He walked in self-sacrifice, giving up himself. Why do we believe that it is anything different for us? And why did he give up himself? Because he knew that a crown of splendor is laid up for him, and we have been given assurance in the scripture that crowns of splendor are prepared for us as well. But yet still, we are timid in this world, faithless in this world. All right. All right, hope you're with me so far. So, that is the fear, faithless, and the fearful, the difference between both. Now, if we are in this Babylonian system, if our minds are not renewed because our minds are programmed for fear, they program us for fear. So they even ensure that there is a crime level in the country so that you fear, and when you fear, then you'll be easily controlled. Order out of chaos. So we live in a system that actually brings us to fear. We see this demic that was upon this earth And we see how they engineered the fear of this demic. Well, they showed images at the beginning of people just falling, and everyone like, wow, this thing is so dreadful. And then they gave you, on the news, they're constantly giving you figures and telling you that thing is going up. And people are like panicking, oh my, this thing is going up. And they tell you how many people died, and everyone was like, whoa. We are programmed for fear. If our minds are not renewed, we cannot love our lives unto death. We will continue to love our lives unto the death. Yeah. Our minds have to be renewed. All right. Somebody was saying something. I thought, was it Pedro?
Yeah, I was saying just a word of being grateful for this study, because most of us do have a problem with understanding the words as they are spoken, the meaning of the words. For example, the word worshiping. We knew, we were taught that to worship is to bow down to someone, to something, show reverence to that particular person. We did not have that understanding that a mere belief that a person can be of a help to you, that is a form of worship. So therefore, now we do understand that by only believing that the system, the Babylonian system in which we live, believing that they can help us, they will give us a job, they will give us money, they will give us houses and all these kind of things. That's a form of worship as well. We need to have our mind transformed according to the scriptures. The one thing that really will help us not to appreciate the Babylonian system is by reading the scriptures and meditate and pray. That is one thing that is going to help us. We read the scriptures, we meditate in the scriptures, and we pray, and Yahuwah will align us with His will, and all fear shall be away from us. Fear shall disappear. Then our mind shall be transformed, because we shall have gained understanding, we shall have gained wisdom. In all thy get wisdom, get understanding. Once we have
Understanding.
that, our mind shall be transformed. That's Proverbs 4:5. Then we need to be able to get wisdom, understanding, and our mind shall be transformed. We need to be lovers of reading the scriptures. We need to be lovers of hearing the word of Yahuwah. Then surely all the fear shall go. We have the example of the apostles. These people, they already knew that which was awaiting for them, though there were obstacles, but their focus was on that which they were promised, because their mind was already transformed. So we need to be this kind of people. Shalom.
Thank you very much. As it says, Emunah cometh from hearing, and hearing by the word.
Hallelujah.
So we have to live in the word, which is the sword of the Ruach. It is our offensive weapon against the enemy. It is the heart and core of us. So in living in the word, we have to get understandings of the word. All right? Thank you, El Pedro. So now the question comes up right now. There's a question. How many of us have counted the cost? How many of us came into this way and counted the cost to know and understand what exactly is required of us? I can tell you that many of us did not. We know that there's an allure. Most of us came to him through Christianity in the beginning. We thought that was the way to serve him. Then it was the religion. It didn't demand much of you unless you wanted it to demand much of you. And what I mean by that is that there are many denominations, the tens of thousands of denominations. Pick your choice. Wherever you want to go, you want to go. If you think to serve him diligently, you'll find one that appears to serve him diligently. If you just want to have a casual social meeting place, then you can find one of those churches that are like social social clubs, whichever way you want. So there was not much cost to count. There was not much to give up. There was not much. Whatever you wanted to do, you could do it. All right, and that is of course also attributable to the false rapture doctrine that says, because as long as you're a Christian, you're going to be raptured away. So it gives us a false sense of security. Many of us did not count the cost. Many of us didn't stop and think and say, it really means that I have to give up my life. Am I willing to give up my life, though? Many of us didn't do that. And that is what I'm telling you. Whatever time it is, today, whenever you need to stop, go in a solitary place. Make up your mind. Am I willing to give up my life right now? If you have not brought yourself into that mindset, if your mind is not renewed along that line, then you will just be in religion. How many of us have counted the cost? As we said, we're going to give you the hard parts first, then we're going to give you the good parts. The not good. Because what sounds bad is also good. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry there, let me chip in. Going to the book of Matthew 7, I think it's verse 13, where it says, enter ye through the narrow gate. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate that leads to destruction. Now, when it says we should enter through the narrow gate, this is the straight gate. This is what this version says. It says, enter ye in the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Now, when he admonishes us to enter through the narrow gate, is because the narrow gate has requirements.
Yeah.
In the narrow gate, there has to be a transformation of mind, of attitude, of lifestyle. In the wider gate, where many are entering through, there is a wide space. There's much space whereby you can do whatever you want. That is the wider gate. In the wide gate, you can jump, you can sleep, you can lie, you can fornicate, you can do anything. And many people are following that. But on the narrow path, there are requirements. For if you enter into that narrow path and you do not follow the instruction, you shall suffocate and you die. Therefore, we need to understand that we need to be able to give everything up and enter into that narrow gate. When you go into narrow gate, there's nothing, you don't carry bags there, you don't carry your burdens, you don't carry anything, it's just you in that narrow gate. So we need to transform our minds and know that in this narrow gate, we go having denied self. We have denied ourselves, and it's just us that we have to go and carry the burden of the word of Yahushua. Shalom.
Well stated. Perfectly stated, El Pedro. Yeah. So, how many of us have counted the cost? All right? Another harsh reality. Those holding on to this life will be rejected in the end. Harsh reality. As we said, we're giving you the harsh realities first. Those holding on to this life will be rejected. Lucas 14, 16 to 24. Lucas 14, 16 to 24. Read, please, Ak.
Then said he unto them, a certain man made a great supper, and bade many, and sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, come, for all things are now ready.
All right, so guess what? It's now supper time. And the Most High is calling us. He is calling us. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. Supper time. Come to supper. Time to move. Verse 18.
And they all with one consent began to make excuse. The first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs go and see it. I pray thee, have me excuse.
Wow. Continue.
And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee, have me excuse. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come.
Whoa. Continue.
So that servant came and showed his master these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor, and the maimed, and the halt, and the blind.
Hey, let me tell you something. A lot of, you know what this is saying? A lot of us believers are going to get rejected. In the end, there is going to be an outpouring of the Ruach. And the Most High is going to gather some people we least imagine. And we're going to be here, going through this thing over and over for years. And the people that we undermine, the Most High is going to bring them in. And we're going to be shut out. That's what it's saying. Look at it. The poor, and of course, the poor does not only refer to your, what you call it, your economic state.
Wow.
All right? From the Greek word putokos, a beggar, pauper, public mendicancy, literally or figuratively, distressed, beggarly, poor. So, a person can be distressed in more ways than one. All right? So, it can be also spiritual. So, the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind, all of these people refer to people who we would say are sinners. And it says, go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city and bring them in. Verse 22.
And the servant said, Master, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room.
So you see?
Yes.
Because he has been speaking to us and we refuse to hear. He's going to say, all right, okay then, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you who I'm going to let in. Because these people are going to be willing. Yes? These people are not going to have anything to lose. Look at this. You're poor, you don't have anything to lose. When you're maimed, nothing to lose. You're halt, nothing to lose. You're blind, no, you're not going to be taken up with this world. So he's going to bring in the other people. Verse 23.
And the master said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled.
You see? Compel them. So there's going to come a time when there are people that he has chosen. He's going to compel them to come. And just don't forget those who find excuses. He's not going to compel them. He's going to keep them out. Very, very serious. He's going to compel them to come in. And this reminds me of it's Jeremiah 16, when he says he's going to send fishers and then he's going to send hunters. I see this fulfilling. I don't know if anybody personally sees this, but I've seen this fulfilling. The Most High sent me out initially to speak to everyone. Now he's giving me dreams, targeting specific people. And I'm saying, whoa, this is a hunting. Specific people, and let me tell you these people. These people are people who you least expect. Who you least expect. Yes?
Yes.
When I asked about one of them, they say, oh, junkie, drug addict. And the Most High sent me. This is what's going to happen, and I'm seeing this in how the Most High is, what the Most High is giving me. He's going to call some people. But you see us, you see us who have been given the word and hesitating. Hey, verse 24 says,
For I say unto you that none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper.
none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. I want us to really, and these are the things that we preach and people say we are hard. It is the truth. It is the truth. Understand it. None of those men that were bidden. Who is it speaking about? Let's go back up here. It is these people who were making excuses. These here from 18 to 19. None of them. None of us who are making excuses will enter the kingdom, but you have some people who think, and this brings us back to the parable again of those who were working all along for 1 penny, and then people came in the end and get the same 1 penny. And the person said, oh, I've been working so long and we get the same as them. Yeah? Same thing.
Same thing.
We gotta wake up, people. Okay. And it gets worse again for us. Other things that we have to bear in mind again. We have to get this in perspective, people. We have to be transformed. Okay? We must be transformed. It is not a religion. It is a lifestyle, a way of life. It is a way of living that comes straight from the heart, from inside our minds. All right? It's not what you do. It is who you are. Yes? And when I say who you are, I'm not talking about because you're Israelite or Israelite. I'm speaking about who you are in terms of love and all that. I don't even know the English word to come with that. Somebody might know. Yes? It is what you are inside. Yeah. Yeah. It is what you are in this life that makes the difference. It's what's important. So that is why Shaul was speaking about the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. The letter of the law is what you do. Justified just by what you do? No. You're justified by what you have become. Transforming your mind and your life into a new creation. All right? So, you cannot be my disciple. Very, very stark reality that we have to also bear in mind, people. You cannot be my disciple. When cannot we be his disciples? We have to bear this in mind. Read, please, Lucas 14:25 to 27.
And there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, If any man come to me, and hate not his father, and mother, and wife, and children, and brethren, and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple.
He cannot be my disciple. All right. You're hearing an echo, Ephraim?
Yeah, there is an echo. I thought it was just the volume.
Okay, I turned it off. If you hear it again, tell me. This thing just keeps coming on. All right. All right. So, yeah. He says, if any man come to me and hate not his father, that means if you do not put your mother, father, sister, brother, everything behind him, then you cannot be his disciple. Now, it takes a transformed heart, a transformed mind in order to do that. All right? If we are living in Babylon going according to how we were brought up, etc., we cannot do that. Read on verse 27, please.
And whosoever doth not bear his stake and come after me cannot be my disciple.
And what is the stake we have to bear now? The stake we have to bear now. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. and save every man his soul. Do not be cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's anger. He will render unto her a recompense. Revelation 18:4. Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. No, that you need not mix one word and I got it out. And receive not of her plagues. Yes, yes. Yeah. All right. So it's coming out. We're going to look at those as well. So we have to be able to bear its day. So those of us who are sitting pretty in Babylon, yes, people, we have to think carefully of what we are doing. Right now, we are in the end times. These people are setting up World War III. They are setting up, eventually going mandatory with that. Yes? They are setting up economic collapse. They are setting up food shortage, etc. All of those things are being set up. And instead of preparing, we are sitting pretty in Babylon.
They have been setting up the third temple.
Go ahead.
They have been setting up the third temple.
Oh, they're setting up a temple over in Israel?
Yes, the third temple.
Oh, okay. And that third temple is for the kingdom. Anyway, yeah. Now most of us are still sitting pretty. Most of us are in religion. We are no different from the Christians, people. Our way, our walk, our way is totally different from Christianity. It is a way of life marked by self-sacrifice. That is the way. Look at the history of all the apostles and the disciples. When they received the Ruach, they became crazy. They had no more fear of man. Yes? And almost all of them died. Fearlessly. Almost all of them. That is our call. How can we be called and we're sitting pretty at end time? At crunch time, we're sitting pretty. So that's why Yahusha said, then said Yahusha unto his disciples, Matthew 16:24, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me. If any man will come after me, so you cannot follow him unless you have become selfless. You no longer regard self. That means you will not love your life unto the death. You will no longer regard self when it comes to the ways or the things of the Most High. Okay? You will become selfless. That is the only way you can be his disciple. Another harsh reality here. We've said it several times, but we have to say it again. So, we are told that at this time, and we have a teaching on justaword.org, because I did a series of videos on Flee Out of the Midst of Babylon on Kazakh Eliyahu channel. So we have an article on justaword.org called Flee Out of the Midst of Babylon that contains all of the videos and all of the different aspects of fleeing out of the midst of Babylon. You might want to check that out. And that is what we are called to today. And we're going to look at we also looked at the abomination of desolation and show you the time, what trips off us fleeing or removing out of the midst of Babylon. If you're not fleeing or preparing to flee, then. So we were told to flee. I'm going to use three different because there were more. We were told to flee out of the midst of Babylon, remove out of the midst of Babylon, come out of Babylon. And many of us ignore this and we deny it and negate it. It's not necessary. Jeremiah 51:6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. We were told to remove out of Babylon, out of the midst of Babylon. Jeremiah 50:8, remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans and be as a he-goat before the flocks. So go and lead out the rest of the flocks. But in Revelation 18:4, the Most High, in his wisdom, also place that command in there to make us see that we could say, oh, that's flee out of Babylon. That is Old Testament. That is in the book of Jeremiah. There's nowhere in the New Testament that tells us that. Revelation 18:4 tells us, come out of her. And I heard another voice from Shamayim saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So being in Babylon, you're going to partake of her sins, you're going to receive of her plagues, you are going to partake of her sins, and you're going to be cut off in her iniquity. So you have to leave to deliver your soul. Now, the system, Babylon system, traps us into believing that we cannot do without the system. And so that is where Emunah comes in. The faithless are going to remain thinking we cannot do without the system. So we stay in the system, not having an exit strategy for the system. The system traps us into believing we cannot do without it because we have been cultured in the system. When you come to the word, as El Pedro says, faith cometh from hearing, and hearing by the word. The more you hear the word, the more you read the word, the more you will have the emunah that you can actually come out of the system. Yeah? So we do not, people, want to be like those who receive the word among thorns. Matityahu 13:22. He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. That is the danger. Babylon has programmed us with the cares of this life, the deceitfulness of riches. Yes, we can go and we can acquire more and more and more. But many of us, we have more than enough. More than enough. Have you ever spoken with some people that you know are well off, much more well off than you? And when they speak to you so glum about what's going on. They say, what's going on? Boy, I'm here fighting the system. No, that person has 200 acres of land. I don't know how much of that 200 acres is his. He has a house in a very prestigious place, a nice, comfortable house. He has a business. He has a whole lot of assets. And yet still they say we are fighting the system. Why is that? Because Babylon has convinced us that we must never ever be satisfied with our estate. Whatever we have, we are always going to want to crave more. And so it makes us stuck inside of Babylon, unable to free ourselves from them. So now we come to the remedy for all of that. We have stated all of the things, the foundational things. We are going to go to the remedy. And this we spoke on the radio the other day. And I think the radio was tripping out, so it's very relevant at the most. I think the most I didn't want it to go out so well at that time, to leave it for here. Let's see how it goes. To overcome all of these things that I'm telling you about, every single thing that we said from the start, every single thing we said from the start, one thing we need to do to overcome, our minds must be renewed. Read Romans 12 verse 1, please.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Allah. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Allah, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Allah, which is your reasonable service.
All right, you see this verse here, very powerful. Now we're going to look at some words that are in this this verse. I beseech you, therefore, that by the mercies of Allah, that you present your bodies. Now, what does present mean? It comes from the Greek word paristemi, which means to stand beside, that is to exhibit, proffer or something like that, proffer, specifically recommend, substantiate, or to be at hand or ready, assist, bring before. So command, commend, give, presently, present, prove, provide, show, stand before, by here, up with, yield. So you present your body. This means yield, giving up. It's a giving up of your body. It is a total surrender of your body. Here we talk about denying self. This is what it's talking about. When you have a lamb that is going to be slaughtered, the lamb totally surrenders. It's not going to fight. Not going to fight. You get a goat and the goat will fight. The lamb is not going to fight. All right? Will totally surrender. That is what it means to present. So it speaks of a willingness. You say, hey, here I am. Here I am. Do whatever you want to do with me. Here I am. Present our bodies. Yeah? A living sacrifice. A living sacrifice there speaks to you are a sacrifice every single day. Every single minute, every single hour. Your life is a sacrifice. There is no time. As some people say in this world, oh, people, I need some time for myself. You cannot have time for yourself. As Shamuel will tell you, you have no right to time for yourself. You don't have any right to anything. You are slaves. We are slaves. And when you are a slave, you are a living sacrifice. Holy, Kodesh, and acceptable unto Elohim, unto Allah. What does it mean to be acceptable? Acceptable comes from the Greek, Eurestos, I can't pronounce these words. Eurestos, from G2025 and G701, fully agreeable. Acceptable, well-pleasing. Well-pleasing. Yes? Fully agreeable. So, in other words, when we present our bodies must be well-pleasing to the Most High, a sacrifice of a sweet-smelling savor. And the only way it can be pleasing to the Most High if it is done in humility and you actually give up, willingly give up yourself. And also, the sacrifice must be what? Without spot and blemish. That is the sacrifice that pleases the Most High. The Most High is not pleased with sacrifices that are blemished. You can go to the Torah and you see it over and over again. You must not offer a sacrifice of an animal that has a blemish. Okay? Which is your reasonable service. The reasonable there is from logikos, which means rational. Reasonable of the word, rational, logical, reasonable of the word. In other words, this is a service that it's like saying, what else do you expect? It's a logical sacrifice. Because Hamashiach also did the same. He was a living sacrifice, Kodesh, and acceptable unto Elohim. And so we must be the same. So we're looking at the sacrifice there, but now we're going to look at the renewal of our minds. To overcome, our minds must be renewed. Romans 12, verse 2. Read, please. Ephraim.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hearing you now.
Okay. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Allah.
Huh? Okay, let me change. Oh, it's connected now. All right, I was hearing you tripping out. All right.
Okay.
And be not conformed to this world. So we highlighted some words here. Whoa, I did this wrong. I have the same words. No. Oh, yes. I didn't do conformed. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Allah. I made an error here. I'll have to see how I can find these meanings. How can I do it? I need conformed, transform. All right, let me do it here. Let me see if I can do it. I'll have to do a jumping thing. All right. All right. All right, Romans 12:2. Romans 12:2. Oh, one simple error throws out so many things. All right, be not conformed. So we're looking for the meaning of conformed. Yeah. Romans 12:2. The meaning of conformed there is the Greek shushkai matizo from G4862 and a derivative of 4976 to fashion alike. That is, conform to the same pattern. Conform to, fashion self according. Let me get this thing here. Be not conformed to this world. Do not fashion yourselves alike this world. Do not conform to the same pattern as this world. Do not have yourself in the same fashion. Do not fashion yourself according to this world. You see the importance of it, Ephraim?
I see it. And it's even scary.
So for our mind to be renewed, we have to take our programming away from this world and go into the programming of the Most High, in which we don't care about this world, in which our mind is renewed as people who do not love our lives unto the death. The whole world is afraid of dying. Those who are set apart, who are called and chosen, will not be afraid of dying, because they are people of Emunah. Okay? So that conformed there. I want us to get it riveted in our minds. So those of us who are in this world now and comfortably in this world, and when we were saying flee out of the midst of Babylon, people are saying, oh no, he will come and get us out of Babylon. No, you are conformed to this world. Because in order to live in Babylon, you have to fashion yourselves like Babylon. And it says, but be ye transformed. What does transform mean, Ephraim? Transform comes from the Greek word metamorpho, from G 3326 and G 33445, to transform literally or figuratively, to metamorphose or to change, transfigure, transform. So you are going to be changed by the renewing of your mind. Carefully. This verse is heavy. So when we go through it over and over, it is to get the insights into it. When you are conformed to this world, as we said, we have good news. The good news is how we can actually get out of this Babylonian mindset mess.
Sorry.
When we
Brother
are
Jose.
conformed to this, yeah, go ahead, El Pedro.
I'm sorry to be seemingly cutting as you're speaking. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to say this. We
No,
speak
no, no,
to
no,
a
no,
lot
no.
of people.
El Pedro,
Yes.
cut in whenever you cut in whenever you wish. No
Oh,
problem.
thank you. Thank you, big brother. We speak to a lot of people who say, look, I was born and this is what I found, this is what I learned, and this is what I know. Speaking about religion, speaking about whom they are worshiping, how they are doing, and the days of festivities and so forth. This is what they know. That's how they were brought up. We were all brought up in that way. We all came from there. But then when we received the aura, which is the light, the instructions, that changed us, because then there we found a direction and a purpose of our existence. We have to find a purpose. Once we find a purpose, then we will see that there are instructions that guide the purpose. Many people say, oh, we are now under grace, but even grace itself is under the instructions. So therefore, we need to transform our mentality, changing from that which we were brought up being taught, and into this aura, this light, which has instructions, which lead us to the purpose of our existence. So just to say that, okay, this is what I know, this is me, this is what I was taught. Did we ever have any moment to question that which we know, whether it is true or it is false? Because intelligence is our ability to question everything we know. So therefore, we need to have our mind transformed, changed from that which was inculcated in us into this which is light, the Torah of Yahweh. And in this manner, we shall be able to bring ourselves in conformity with Yahweh's instructions. Shalom.
All right. Move to the light. It is the word that renews our mind. All right. Let's go. So, where was I? Yeah. So we have, do not be conformed to this world. Do not fashion yourself after this world, but be changed by what? By the renewing of your mind. Now, this is the core verse. The renewing of your mind. What does renewing mean? It comes from the Greek anakainosis. All right, you see it. You know it. From G43, G34:1, renovation. It comes from the word that means renovation. So renewing your mind, let me get it. I never can get it in the thing. Renewing your mind actually speaks of you renovating your mind. And just think about what happens when we renovate. When you renovate a house, I was using the example of having a house that you have a house rented out and the tenants have been there for a while, a long while. Because they've been there for a long while, guess what? They're going to make a right mess. Now, you want the place, the terms with which you rented out the house was, let me get this thing. I'll get back to here, those holding on. All right. The terms with which you with which you rented the house, it was a long time ago. So the rental price was low. The people came and they made the right mess. Now the housing market is booming. So you now want to get a tenant at this high level of rental. What do? You need to renovate. When you renovate, the tenants first come out of the house. When they come out of the house, you are going to scrub and scour everything and clean everything that is there. What needs to be removed will be removed and replaced. Yes? And after you remove and you replace, then you repaint. When you repaint, it's like a brand new house, and you can now rent it to the new tenants at an escalated price. What am I saying? When your mind is renewed, you have to take out the things that need to be taken out. Other things have to be adjusted. Yes? And then it has to be painted. Painted means the rock has to be there in your heart and in your mind to lead you into cleanliness, to lead you into righteousness. Okay? So, renovation. So that is why when you're in Babylon and you come out of Babylon, it is the word that is going to transform your mind. And not only the word, you have to make a decision. Right? Because we could be reading the word over and over again, and we know when we looked at the Prince of Error the other day, we realized that the Prince of Error, we can see the truth before us. And because our affections are misguided, the flesh is leading us, and our affections are misguided, we can see the truth and corrupt our consciences and choose that which is the lie. So in order for our minds to be renewed, it also needs an active decision by us of what we are going to reject and what we are going to accept. Meaning, whatever it takes for us to be transformed, we have to be willing to accept it and reject anything. And we're going to look at it, any thought that magnifies itself against Hamashiach. We have to get rid of that as well. Okay? So, let me get back there to renewing. So I only hope that is clear about renewing. The renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will. So you're no longer fashioned according to this world. Your mind has to be changed by renovating your mind, that ye may prove. And what does prove mean? Prove comes from the Greek dokimazo, which comes from G1384, to test, literally or figuratively, by implication, to approve, allow, discern, examine, like, prove, try. In other words, let's go again up here. If you are conformed to this world, you will not be able to discern what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Allah. Let me say it again. Let me go back to confirmed. Conformed. If you are conformed to this world, which means, well, I don't have to click it, which means if you are fashioned like this world, if you fashion yourself along the lines of this world, if you conform to the same pattern as this world, you will not be able to discern what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Allah. Impossible. Okay? You will not be able to prove what is that good and acceptable. No, not good. I don't want good. Acceptable. What does it mean, acceptable will of Allah? Acceptable there, from the Greek euarestos, which comes from G2095 and G701, fully agreeable, acceptable, well-pleasing. So if you are conformed to this world, people, you cannot prove, you cannot discern what is well-pleasing and perfect. Let's look at perfect. Perfect comes from teleos, complete, in various applications of labor, growth, mental and moral character, neuter, with completeness, a full age man, perfect. What did Hamashiach say in Matthew 5:48? Be ye therefore what? Perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. So we have to know his perfect will. And what does it mean by his will? G2307. Telaima, from the prolonged form of G, let me get this up, of G2309, a determination, properly the thing that is actively choice, specifically purpose, decree, active volition, or passively inclination, desire, pleasure, will. So what is the desire, the perfect desire of the Most High? So let's run through the sentence again. And be not fashioned like this world, but be changed by the renovation of your mind, that you may discern what is that good and perfect, acceptable, well-pleasing, and perfect, complete will, pleasure of Allah. So let me get out of this.
Drop the mic there.
In other words, pardon?
I was saying after that one you can drop the mic.
What was that, Ephraim?
I'm saying after that one you can drop the mic.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So if people, you need to study this verse carefully and look at it for yourself. If we continue in the way of this world, we are wasting our time, people. Wasting our time. Seriously. And as we said, this is what we have to tell you here. This is what we tell you. Okay? So, let's look at the importance of being renewed, because we just saw the importance, but let's look at it a little more. The importance of being renewed. Go ahead, please. Psalm 51:10.
Create in me a clean heart, O Allah, and renew a right ruach within me.
Create in me a clean heart and renovate my mind and give me a right ruach. If we are in sin, if we are in any way away from perfection, our minds need to be renewed. That is the only way we can have a clean heart. That is the only way a right ruach can dwell within us. Okay? And renew there comes from the Hebrew chadash, to be new, causatively to rebuild, renew, repair. So when we are in Babylon and we have come to the way, those who come to the way must understand that it is a our mind has to be renewed. We have to first count the cost, then we have to deny self, and then do what it takes, and then our minds will be renewed, and then we have to make an effort to keep renewing our minds every single day. So, so our ruach in us must be repaired. Must be repaired. And for some, even rebuilt, so we can be changed from the old person. Many of us people, most of us are religious. Most of us are just going there, and that is why you have so many people, so many groups that don't focus on these things, don't teach these things. They teach different things, carnal things, over and over again, who you are, as if that is the most important thing. All right? Our mind has to be renewed. We have to be changed from the old person. Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Elohim. Now we know that we have to be renewed. We are first going to look at what stands in the way of our renewal. What stands in the way of our mind being renewed? First, we're going to look at the first thing that stands in the way of our minds being renewed is lack of emunah, lack of faith, which of course is fear. Fear. We were born and we grew up in this. This is all I know. How are you going to tell me now about this new thing that you're coming with? I have been at church all my life. I knew JC. What are you going to tell me now? What is my family going to say? If I go to them and tell them about this truth, what are they going to do? I am living here comfortably. I've lived all my life building up what I have. It took me 40 years to build to what I have, and you're telling me to just leave it and go out of Babylon? Yes? Fearful of what lies ahead. What am I going to do? What am I going to wear? What are we going to eat? What? Fear is one of the things that prevents our mind being renewed. So we stay in the system and we stay in the mindset that keeps us comfortable in that mindset. Right? Another thing that keeps us standing in the way of our mind being renewed is, of course, lack of knowledge. Many people did not take it into perspective. Somebody mute your mic, please. Who is it? All right, let me coming on. All right. So many of us, let me go. Oh, I saw you a while ago. All right. It's not coming on. Oh, here it is now. All right. People, when you're on, please mute your mics. Yeah. So the other one is lack of knowledge. Many people did not know all of this. Many people just think, okay, you believe, and so you just come and you just change, and a lot of people did not know that the mind has to be renewed in a new programming. And it's very simple and it's commonsensical though, that when you have a computer that's programmed for a particular task, that computer will execute only the task for which it is programmed. If you want to program it for another task, you have to add another program or reprogram it. So for example, if a computer was owned by someone before and someone else gets a new owner, that computer has to be totally reprogrammed. Everything that was before is wiped out, totally wiped out. And something new is, a new program is, our programs are added to it. It's the same thing, right? Another thing that stands in the way of our mind being renewed is being wise in our own eyes. We live in a world today where we have some people who refuse to go according to the order or the way of the Most High. Go around and dig up information here and there and think the Most High is going to give us truth just like that. Right? The Most High operates through assemblies. He operates through fellowship. All right? He operates through certain people he chooses to do his task. Some people will not listen because many of us, we come to the way, we have an elevated sense of who we are. All right? We have to understand what we must always be learning, always be willing to and ready to listen to other people, no matter who we are, no matter how much we believe we are chosen. All right? So we have to listen to everyone, not everyone, well, you know what I mean? Listen to others, because if you listen to everyone, you'll get confused. You have to be willing to listen to others and not be wise in your own eyes. And how do you do that? Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. That is how you prove the truth, by proving all things. Don't take anything for granted that you know this. Don't be wise in your own eyes. Because many people today, when we tell them, I remember I started talking about fleeing out of the midst of Babylon, and people were there. They came on and they started telling you this and that. They didn't, many of them didn't ask. They just kept telling you what they thought. And you were seeing the errors in what they're saying, and they don't want to see the errors. You have to be willing to not be wise in our own eyes. Another thing that stands in the way of our mind being renewed is pride. That good old pride that is the heart and core, at the heart of every single problem that we may have. Pride. So, I'm in my good job. What are you telling me now? To reject this system? Gone to school. I've done my 5 years to get my degrees, or 7 years to get my degrees. And I'm well in a very good position, good job, good everything. Yeah? I'm not going to leave this. Yes? Pride. Pride keeps us in the same position. And always it says pride goes before a fall.
Yes.
So pride is always there to stop our mind being renewed. How do I change my mindset when I'm proud? Impossible. Another problem is self-love. That is when we do not love the Most High with all our heart, mind, and soul, and do not love our neighbors as ourselves. We are going to put ourselves first in everything. Remember a few years ago, over the last few years, this self-love thing that came up. Everybody, you have to love yourself first. You have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of everyone. Doctrines of demons, doctrines of devils. Yes?
Yes.
We have to make sacrifices for people. Yeah, we have to give in and give up things. So we know that, hey, I would love to do this. And then they say, hey, here's an opportunity to do good to that person. You have to opt to do that. That is a living sacrifice. But self-love now, when it comes to being renewed, away from the system makes me so comfortable. The system is giving me what I want. I can buy this, I can do this, I am comfortable. It makes me so comfortable. Yes? Me. I am taking care of me. We have to reach to the point where Yahuwah is the one who is taking care of us. All right?
Yes.
Another of the things that stand in the way of our mind being renewed, of course, is the prince of error. As long as we are not desired to follow truth, as long as our lust, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, and the lust of the flesh are there beside us or with us, the prince of error is going to use that to blind our eyes, and we are not going to be able to renew our minds because our minds will only be focused on Babylon. Only. Because Hasatan will blind you, so you will not be able to see the good news. 2 Corinthians 4, 3-4. We are used to it, but let's do it again. Let's do it, because it's very important. Where we go? Yeah, 2 Corinthians 4, 3-4. Well, let us illustrate again how Hasatan works out this thing. Anybody believe I do it too much? Anyone believes that I've done it too much?
True.
Go ahead, Ephraim. Okay.
But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of Allah, should shine unto them.
All right. If our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. So there are some people who are lost because the God of this world hath blinded their minds. So our minds in Babylon blinded our minds so we cannot see the good news. So we cannot even try or even think about renewing our minds. Yeah? Blinded the minds of them which believe not. So if you do not believe enough to think to make changes, you're not going to be able to see the splendid good news of Hamashiach in all its splendor. Okay? So that is where so that is where number 6 comes in, the prince of error. Okay? Then number 7, we have Lucas 21, 34 to 36. I haven't looked at it for a while. It's a good time for us to memorize ourselves. Again, Lucas 21, 34 to 36. This is one of the main things that keep us blinded, not being able to renew our minds. So we are giving you the stumbling blocks that we should know, that we should take away. Read, please.
And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting, and drunkenness, and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares.
So how can the day come upon us unawares? It's only that the prince of error has blinded our minds. All right? Now here are the problems that we have to overcome, that we have to be aware of. Surfeiting. Surfeiting is excess. This is Babylon that programs us to desire excess. Remember, we were speaking earlier of this man who was saying, well, I'm here fighting the world, and he has so many assets. Surfeiting is us keep going after excess, things that we don't actually need, but things that we want. So if you're in this world going after wants, it's surfeiting. And drunkenness. Babylon is a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand, which had made the earth mad. The earth is drunken by Babylon. This drunkenness is this blindness, being carried away with the system. Our minds programmed on the system, and being carried away in the system by the system. Okay? And cares of this life. Babylon has programmed us for cares of this life. I was at the supermarket yesterday, and I heard one of the girls that packed the bag, and she was talking to the other girl while I was cashing. And she said, well, I paid off all my bills. Don't owe any light, I don't owe any water, and everything. So I said to her, for now. She said, yes, until next month. For now. That's how Babylon programs you. So you're good for now. But then you have to worry about the next month. And the month after. And the month after. And so the cares of this life has you distracted, blinded. So that day comes upon you unawares. And he reminds us, verse 35.
For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth.
And you see that?
Yes.
As a snare. So the whole earth It's going to be carried away with drunkenness and surfeiting, going after materialism and going after Babylon, and it's going to come upon you unawares. And it says, like a snare on all them that dwell upon the earth. And it's going to show you how you can escape it. The next verse is telling you how you can escape it. Verse 36, read please.
Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things, that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
So we are to be watching and praying always. Let's look at a couple meanings here. Let's see if we get anything about watch. Watch there is to be sleepless. That is, keep awake. To be sleepless. So you are totally devoted to this way. How can you be totally devoted to this way when you are a part of the system, the inner system of Babylon? You got to work 2 jobs in order to survive in Babylon. You have to go to work, and you work from X time to X time, and then you have no time for nothing. Yeah? When you hear, before this COVID thing, it's not so bad now. They had come with this school thing, and I told people that this is by design. They started filling us up with projects as parents. Projects, and the projects are so hard for the children. You, the parent, have to do it, and you have to assist them. So a parent coming home hard from work, I used to be frustrated with it. They are worrying about earning money, and then when they come home, you have to make this, you have to build this. And some of the things are so, it takes so much out of you, you know?
Yes.
So you cannot watch. You cannot keep awake because you're focused on Babylon.
Yes.
That ye may be accounted worthy. Go ahead, El Pedro.
Yeah, we're actually talking about this today. Shalom, everyone. You know, in Babylon, we are not able to be fully obedient to Alua. I was born in the rural areas, in the countryside, where we depended very much on agriculture. My eldest brother is actually still there. What happens is, if I call him at 9 o'clock in the morning, he is already leaving the farms, going home. Then he has the whole day to do everything else. From 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, he is working in the fields. Now, when the sun starts to heat up, then he goes home, him and his family. So he's got the rest of the day to do whatever he wants to do. But in Babylon, you have to pay for your electricity, your water, your schooling. Now, look at the school system, what it does. It gives our children what we call homework. When they come home, we are actually the ones who are doing the teaching to our children. It's not the school anymore. They only go to school, and you pay a lot of money in school now. There are these people who have actually rejected this Babylonian system whereby they teach their children at home. They teach them to write, to count, and they concentrate only on business, and they're very successful. They don't train themselves in order to enrich the enemy. So those kind of things can only be valuable to us once we align our mind with what Yahweh says, come out of Babylon. Everyone save your own life. So therefore, we need to be able to understand that, as Brother Kazak says, it's all by design. Even this which is coming right now, it's all by design, so as to inculcate fear into us, so that we can be able to align ourselves with their system, with the system of Babylon. So we need really to come out. You will see, once we come out, we go to the field, we work the field. Because why do we work? We need to buy rice, which we can actually grow. We need to buy tomato, we need to buy onion, we need to buy garlic. Everything we need to buy, we can grow it ourselves. So therefore, our mind shall be fully focused in that Yahuwah says, I will open the gates of heaven. When he opens the gate, it means that the rain shall come and you will produce.
Yes.
It's not what the others are saying that you'll open the gates and you have a lot of money. It's not about that. So therefore, we need to come out of Babylon. We need to be able to go out and produce, and we shall have time to really ask Yahuwah to bless the work of our hands, and we shall see the results. Shalom.
All praises to the Most High. Yeah. All right, so watch there is to keep awake. And it says, and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy. Reminder of accounted worthy means to deem entirely deserving. So the accounted worthy there is that it is the Most High who is going to deem us to be accounted worthy. He is the one who is going to deem us to be worthy. So if we are watching and praying always, then we are not going to be counted worthy to escape. Now, the meaning of escape, again, I probably need to put this one on the screen because we've done it before, but we have to, somebody, maybe you're watching for the first time. I never saw when we did it before. That you be accounted, which verse was it again? 36, yeah. That he be accounted worthy to escape. Escape is G1628. See it there? Now let's look at G1628, what it is. That ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass. Escape there means ekfugo from G15 and 37 to flee out. Escape. Flee. Flee. So, those people who are fleeing are those who the Most High has accounted worthy. And why has he accounted them worthy to flee? Because they are watching and praying always and are not caught up in the surfeiting and the drunkenness and the cares of this life. Right? That should be very clear. I don't know. Is it clear, Ephraim?
Crystal clear. It is very clear.
All right. So, where we go now? Where are we? Oh, yes. So, so the importance, the result, the importance of being born of Alua. Because this renewal will bring us to a point. The true renewal will bring us to the point of being born of Alua, where we do not practice sin. We are not under the power of sin anymore. If we are born of Alua, the prince of error cannot overcome us. This is what we're going to see. 1 John 5, 1-5. Tell we're giving it the good part, the escape. We're giving the escape. Read, please.
Whosoever believeth that Yahusha is the Messiah is born of Aloha. And everyone that loveth him that be God loveth him also that is begotten of him.
If you believe that Yahusha is Hamashiach, you are born of Aloha. And of course, the operative word here is believe it. This belief comes with action. So you believe, and so you also do. And what you do is evidence that you believe. As James said, show me your works, and I will show you my emunah, or faith, by my works. This is what he's talking about. So now everyone else says in their mind, okay, Yahusha is the Messiah. Of course, Yahusha is the Messiah. Sinners do that. Sinners do that. All right? Verse 2.
By this we know that we love the children of Allah, when we love Allah and keep his commandments.
So we see the connection there.
Yes.
When you believe that Yahusha is the Messiah, you will love Allah, you will love the children of Allah, and you will keep his commandments. Those three prerequisites. So what is this? Love the children of Allah, and we love Allah. What two commandments are those, Ephraim? Ephraim?
You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. To love Yahuwah with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself.
All right. Yes?
Yes.
So these are those who are born of Allah. And not only that, you will also be keeping his commandments. You see?
Yes.
It's a trifecta there. Continue verse 3. So this is how we know our mind is renewed when we are born of Allah. Verse 3.
For this is the love of Allah, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
All right. This is the love of Allah. So we have to keep his commandments. That is love. Verse 4.
For whosoever is born of Allah overcometh the world. And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our emunah.
Goes back to what we were saying in the beginning and what we just said. The first reason we gave as to why people are not transformed or renewed is because of lack of emunah. So here it is, whatsoever is born of Allah overcometh the world. So if we have the love of Allah and the love of our neighbors as ourselves, keep his commandments, if we are born of Allah, then we can overcome the world. And if we overcome the world, what does that mean? It means that we will be those who partake of the first resurrection. Second resurrection will have no power over us. Because people, we have to get this in mind. That is why we exist. This is a game show we are in. Don't get it twisted. The Most High put us on the earth just to see if we are going to overcome the world. That's why we are here. I want to get this in our minds. This is like a game show. A process of elimination. Are you going to overcome the world? And he gave us the tools. He gave us everything that we need to overcome the world. But guess what is standing in the way? Us, our minds that have been programmed by Babylon. Are we going to renew our minds and come out of Babylon's programming so that we can overcome the world? And this is a victory that overcometh the world, even our emunah. As El Pedro was telling us, that it is the word that renews our mind, even our emunah. This is what gives us the victory. Which is why in Revelation 14:12 it says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Allah. Yep, right here. And the emunah of Yahusha. Pip. Right here. Right there in front of us. It's our belief, our emunah, and obedience to his commandments. Verse 5, read please.
Who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Yahusha is the Son of Allah?
All right. Again, just as he started it, he ended it. You'll overcome the world by believing that Yahusha is the son of Allah. But of course, as we said, that belief must be matched by actions, and the actions we're taking here. You can read that for yourself. 1 John, Yaukanan Rishan 4:7-21. Read, please.
Beloved, let us love one another, for Allah is of love. For love is of Allah. And everyone that loveth is born of Allah, and knoweth Allah. He
You see
that
this?
loveth...
Hold on. Remember, we're saying that one of the problems that get us away from renewing our minds is self-love.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Let us love one another, for love is of Allah. And everyone that loveth is born of Allah and knoweth Allah. It doesn't mean everyone who loves themselves. It's everyone who loves their neighbor as themselves and love Yahuwah with all our heart, mind, and soul. That is what makes us born of Allah. You see, his Ruach cannot dwell, rest, remain, and abide in us without love. If we are self-serving, he's not going to abide in us. He will be with us. His presence will be there with us. But we will not be born of Allah. Big difference.
Yes.
Verse 8.
He that loveth not knoweth not Allah, for Allah is love.
You see that?
Yes.
If we do not love, we don't know him. Self-love that keeps us here in Babylon, comfortable and happy in Babylon. Babylon's system is based on self-love. So if you are comfortable in it, it means that you don't know the Most High. See? Everyone that loveth is born of Allah and knoweth Allah. So if you are in self-love, not loving your neighbor as yourself, not loving Yahuwah with all your heart, mind, and soul, then it means you do not know Yahuwah. Simple.
Yeah.
Verse 9.
In this was manifested the love of Allah toward us, because that Allah sent his only begotten Son into the world, that we might live through him.
And so it is this Son being sent into the world that makes us to be like the Son, because he's the firstborn among many brethren. So people, we have to be like the Son, walking as he walked. And walking as he walked, our minds have to be transformed to be able to walk as he walked. Verse 10.
Herein is love, not that we loved Allah, but that he loved us, and sent his Son to be the propitiation for our sins.
That is love. Sending your Son to die so that others may live. Verse 11.
Beloved, if Allah so loved us, we ought also to love one another.
Continue.
No man have seen Allah at any time. If we love one another, Allah dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us.
If we love one another.
Yes.
So, again, we come to the importance of fellowship. If we are isolated from one another, how can we love one another and have him dwell in us? Yes? If we're just there by our own, with ourselves, by ourselves, and on our own, how can he dwell in us? How can his love be perfected in us? Verse 13.
Hereby know we that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Ruach.
So it is through his Ruach that we know that we dwell in him and he dwells in us. Verse 14.
And we have seen and do testify that the Father sent the Son to be the Savior of the world.
Continue.
Whosoever shall confess that Yahusha is the Son of Allah, Allah dwelleth in him, and he in Allah.
All right, so confess there also is an action word. You cannot confess and then you live in the life of a devil. All right? I'm talking about that one. Verse 16.
And we have known and believed the love that Allah hath to us. Allah is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in Allah, and Allah in him.
Continue.
Herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world.
Stop there. Stop there. This is how our love is made perfect. And this is how we have boldness. Because as he is, so are we in this world. So just as how we live, that is how we lived. This is how you have bold. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. You can speak if you want to speak, Ephraim. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. Yeah. So, as he is, so this is why those early disciples, they could just give up themselves, sacrifice themselves, just like that, and were willing and happy to die, because they were living as Hamashiach lived. And as we speak about coming out of Babylon, we have to also go back again. Let's go back again. We are at 17 here. Let's go back. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I just wanted to ask, there verse 17 says, herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment. I just wanted to ask if you can find the meaning of judgment, because this word is being pronounced all over without understanding what judgment is. How is it done? How is it acted?
Okay. Judgment. Let me get this thing up. Judgment. G2920. Crisis. Subjectively or objectively, for or against, by extension, a tribunal, by implication, justice, specifically divine law, accusation, condemnation, damnation, judgment. So it is justice that is based on the law.
Okay.
That's
Thank
it.
you, brother.
Yeah. All right, so where are we again? So 17. Oh, yes, so let's go. All right, so we have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. Matthew 8:20. Matthew 8:19. Read, please.
And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yahusha saith unto him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is why the disciples could have boldness. Because just as the Messiah had nowhere to lay his head, they also did not have anywhere to lay their head. The life of Hamashiach would be like the life of a homeless man who sleeps on the street. That's his life. That was his life. As he is, so are we. So when we say flee out of the midst of Babylon, it has to be a willingness. to live like this. And when we live like this, we rejoice. Hey, we are ready. We are like Hamashiach. Yeah? And bring us to another accompanying one. Lucas 24:37. Speaking about Hamashiach. Read, please.
And in the daytime he was teaching in the temple, and at night he went out and abode in the mount that is called the Mount of Olives.
All right, so we've done this a couple times. Abode, the meaning of abode. We're gonna show you. Where is it? 37. Abode. Let me get this thing. He went out and abode. Abode is G835, and it means olitzomai. Middle voice from G833, to pass the night properly in the open air. Abide, lodge, which means to sleep outside in the open air. That's how Hamashiach lived. And so, how can we have confidence in the day of judgment if we are not willing to live as he lived? Read 17 again, please.
Herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment. Because as he is, so are we in this world.
That's it. Continue.
There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love.
All right, so we have fear. We fear living like Hamashiach. We fear spending the night in the open air. It says there's no fear in love. That means love comes with sacrifice, and love comes with humility as well, to be willing to spend the night in the open air. So there is no fear in love. That is why the fearful and the unbelieving will have their part in the lake of fire. Fear is the opposite of emunah, or faith, and it's only those who are strong in faith who are going to overcome. Verse 19.
We love him because he first loved us.
Continue.
If a man say, I love Allah, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love Allah whom he hath not seen?
All right. So many people say they love Allah. Isn't that so? And then they despise their brother. People, if you are listening to this, do you have anyone that you hate, in which you are in malice, or you despise, have something against them? That is saying that you are a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love Allah whom he hath not seen? Very serious. Verse 21.
And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth Allah love his brother also.
Oh, okay. So, let's speaking about being born of Allah. This is how our minds are renewed, because we are born of Allah, and this Ruach is in us. And the Ruach is the Ruach Amat, the spirit of truth that leads us into all truth, and it will transform our minds. All right? And remember, the word is the spirit. So the word is the written Ruach. And we have the Ruach HaKadosh, Holy Spirit, that gives us instruction on how to interpret and understand the written Ruach, the written word. All right? 1 John 5:18-19. 1 John 5:18 to 19. Read, please.
We know that whosoever is born of Aloha sinneth not, but he that is begotten of Aloha keepeth himself, and that wicked one toucheth him not.
All right, so we tell you that we are at the good part. A lot of people see this in the English Standard Version, which uses a different manuscript from the King James Version. It says, let me put it there. It says, read please.
We know that everyone who has been born of Aloha does not keep on sinning, but he who was born of Aloha protects him, and the evil one does not touch him.
So this one says, keep on sinning, all right? The King James Version would imply that you don't sin at all. You're saying something?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm
Okay.
loving it.
Okay. Yeah. So, if you're born of Aloha, you will not practice sin. You'll not continue to sin. You'll not be repeating sin. So, the wicked one will not be able to touch you. So that is why we say, we were born in Babylon, in Babylon's programming. If we take ourselves of Babylon's programming, love Aloha with all our hearts, minds, and soul, love our neighbors as ourselves, keep the commandments of the Most High, walk as the Messiah walked, love as he loved, then the prince of error, that wicked one, cannot touch us. What may I say to you? The prince of error cannot touch us. Yeah.
Yes.
Verse 19.
And we know that we are of Aloha, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
Read that again there, my brother Ephraim. Read it again.
And we know that we are of Aloha, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
So if the whole world lies in wickedness, how can we be living according to the programming of this world? How can we be conforming to this world, fashioning ourselves of this world? If we are fashioned of this world, it means we are fashioned of what? Wickedness. So how can you be righteous in this world? How can we be in righteousness in this world? If the whole world lies in wickedness, why are we afraid to leave their wickedness? I tell you, we are only here for a time. We are only here for a time as a people. And putting out the Most High's word. And that's what we are here to do. The whole world lies in wickedness. We have to, as we say in Jamaica, take away ourselves from this world. Okay? All right. 1 John 3, 9 to 10. Being born of Aloha, that is the topic. Our minds renewed. Read, please.
Whosoever is born of Aloha doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin, because he is born of Aloha.
All right. So, you know that I should have tallied all the things that relate to being born of Aloha. Everyone that believeth that Yahusha is Hamashiach is born of Aloha. If you believe that he's the son of Yahuwah, you're born of Aloha. If you love Yahuwah with all your heart, mind, and soul, you're born of Aloha. If you love your neighbor as yourself, you are born of Aloha. And keep his commandments, born of Aloha. 5 different things there I can remember. Okay?
Yes.
If you do those things, it says, you will not commit sin. Because his seed remaineth in him, that means the Ruach will be there guiding you away from sin. Verse 10.
In this the children of Aloha are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of Aloha, neither he that loveth not his brother.
All right. So who are the children of the devil now? The children of the devil are those who don't do righteousness. Yes?
Yes.
Those who do not love their brothers, you are of the devil. If I don't love my brother, I am of the devil. If I don't love my brother, if you don't love your brother, you are of the devil. Neither those of us who do not do righteousness. Oh boy. So, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Ephraim. Read, please. We're going to show where we begin to be born of Aloha and to remain with his seed in us. Read, please.
Yahusha answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Ruach, he cannot enter into the kingdom of Elohim.
All right, so this is the beginning of the transformation. This is how the transformation is supposed to begin. Being born of water and of the Ruach. Born of Aloha. This is where it begins. Read, please. Verse 6.
That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Ruach is Ruach.
This is the renewal process. You're initially born of the flesh, grew up in Babylon under their programming, right? But you now need to be reborn of the Ruach. And to be reborn of the Ruach means the Ruach is now leading you in all things, in your decision making, in your thoughts, in your actions. The Ruach is there piloting you, taking you wherever he wants you to go. This is how you have transformed. Not being in Babylon, going according to the programming of Babylon, and expecting the Most High to be there piloting you perfectly, safely. When you love the place and you love the place of the wicked. When he told you in 1 John 2:15, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And we still love the world and think that the love of the Father is going to be in us. Not no so. No. Verse 7.
Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again.
Continue.
The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Ruach.
When you are born of the Ruach, the manifestation of it is the Ruach able to take you wherever he wants to take you, whenever he wants to take you. Your life would not be your own. My life is not my own. Your life.
You, I belong.
Myself. Yeah. I give myself away. That is when you have given yourself, truly given yourself away. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen next. You are just there, living. Yes? You're not going to be those. When they say fear out of the midst of Babylon, you're like, so what am I going to eat? What's going to happen to us? Where am I going to sleep? Yeah? Those who are born of the Ruach will not care, because the Ruach is the Ruach Mashiach. The same spirit that's in the Messiah is the same spirit. And if he spent his night in the open air, we also have to be willing to do the same. Okay? So the Ruach is able to take you wherever he wants you to go. So, where do we begin?
In other words, cease from leaning on your own understanding altogether.
All right. And then you'll be able to respond to the Ruach, even as the Ruach speaks through others. And that's another thing. You have to be able, when the Ruach is leading you, you are able to sense and detect and know when he's speaking through other people. because we tend to be so conceited and prideful. Many of us believe that we are the only ones who are led by the Ruach. So another
And this
person is
also
speaking.
shows how much
Yeah,
we
go
hate
ahead.
our brothers. This will show us how much we hate our brothers also, because if I am going to belittle or deny what you are sharing, it shows that I
Yes.
hate you. I don't believe that the Most High can give you anything.
Yes. Yep. And so the Most High will give, as I said, people, the Most High tests us. He gives His word to the least among those among us, least of those among us, so that if we reject it, we're going to reject His word. The least person we expect. That's why sometimes He might come and if you have a little child ever partake with us, He'll put the words in His mouth of the Most High, of the little child. Sorry. And you're rejecting this. Oh, she's just a little girl. Or oh, he's just a little boy. And then you ignore what they say. you miss out. Trust me on that.
Oh, yes.
So, in the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel 36, 26 to 27, it promised us this renewal. This ability to renew was promised to us. Read, please. Ezekiel 36, 26 to 27.
A new heart also will I give you, and a new ruach will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh.
This is the promise that was given to us, for us in the end time. Psalm 51:10, is it? Create in me a new heart and renew a right ruach within me. This was David again prophesying of this to come. A new heart also will I give you. This is a renewed person. So you'll be in Babylon. Yes? And the Most High provides for you this renewal, this opportunity to renew. Verse 27.
And I will put my ruach within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them.
That's it. So when you get this new heart, it's a new heart that's going to bring you into obedience. So when you know you have been transformed and you have been renewed, you'll have the desire to walk in His statutes and His judgments and to do them. Now, the Christians will tell you that they are in the new covenant. And they will tell you that the law is done away with. And you no longer have to keep the law. This goes totally contrary to this. When you are truly in the new covenant, truly led by His Ruach, your mind is truly renewed, you will have a desire for His laws, His statutes, His commandments, His judgments, His ordinances, His testimony. You'll have a desire for them. And so, this promise of creating in us a new heart was manifested in the book of Acts 2:38. This is how you begin the process of renewal, people. This is how He gave us to begin the process. Acts 2:38.
Then Petro said unto them, Repent and be baptized every one of you in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, for the remission of sins, and ye shall receive the gift of Ruach HaKodesh.
The gift of Ruach HaKodesh is promised. That is what they call the Holy Spirit, that leads us into all truth, as it says in John 16:13. This is the new heart. This is the renovation. Then Kepha said unto them, Repent and be baptized, every one of you. What do we think this repentance is? This repentance is the renewal, the renovation. Remember, when you have the house, as I was talking about the person renting the house, when the old tenant is in the house, you cannot renovate the house with the tenant in there. Right, Ephraim?
Correct, yes.
So that is why today One of the common excuses when landlords want to get you out of the house, they say they are going to do maintenance on the house. So you have to come out. There is never I am going to do maintenance on the whole house and you are going to stay in there. Impossible. So the repentance here is the renovation of the temple, the renovation of our minds. Because when you repent, you cleanse out all of the impurities, all of the uncleanness, all of the old things that were in your heart. You gather them together. And when you're baptized, the Most High removes them from you and replaces that ruach that was with those things and replaces it with Ruach HaKadosh. So now you have dwelling in you, you have your Ruach, and then you have Ruach HaKadosh also dwelling in you. The gift of Ruach HaKadosh. So right away there, you have emptied it out by repentance. Your mind is now renewed. Because guess what? You have now the gift of Ruach HaKadosh that leads you into all truth. So now you can be led into all truth and righteousness. The Ruach or Spirit of the Most High dwelling in you, leading you towards righteousness. Okay? So the mind has to first be renewed, people. And this is how we begin. And so when our minds are renewed, we become new creatures, new creations, new man. Yes? So renewing our minds make us become the new man, as Shaul was speaking about. The book of Ephesians 4, starting at 17. Read, please.
This I say, therefore, and testify in the Master, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind.
Stop there. Henceforth, walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. This is the programming of Babylon, people. The vanity of our minds. Focusing us on material things, bombarding us every day with commercials on televisions and billboards everywhere we go. Commercials to heighten our flesh so much. We have this desire for these material things over and over again. Walking in the vanity of our minds. Verse 18.
Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life
Stop. I'm very sorry I have to stop you there. Having the understanding darkened. So if you're walking in vanity, hey, Satan is going to blind your eyes. Having the understanding darkened. By whom? By the prince of error. So if we're walking in this Babylonian system, a Babylonian mindset, you see how much trouble we are in, Ephraim?
Too much trouble.
Read verse 18, please.
Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Allure through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart.
Whoa, boy. Well, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Allure through ignorance. So they're walking in the vanity of our minds. It is ignorance. And remember, one of the things I said, one of the reasons our mind is not renewed is what? Lack of knowledge? Yeah.
Yes.
That is ignorance. That is it, through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their hearts. And who has blinded their eyes? 2 Corinthians 4, 3-4. The God of this world. Continue in verse 19, please.
Who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness.
In time past, this is the programming that we're on, right? We had given
Yes.
ourselves unto all these things, lasciviousness to world, all uncleanness with what? Greediness. That's why I was just saying a while ago about the billboards and I think they've heightened our flesh so much. Pride of life, lust of the flesh, and lust of the eyes. We are such heightened beings in these things. This is how we used to walk. We cannot walk this way anymore. Read verse 20, please.
But ye have not so learned Hamashiach.
Continue.
If so be that ye have heard him, and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Hamashiach, or
So,
in Yahusha.
That is not, so this is not how we have learned him. So that's why here on Just a Word, that is why we're teaching Hamashiach the way that he was, or should be taught. And most people are not teaching him because people are teaching religion, and many people are teaching under the influence of the Babylonian religion of Christianity. So we focus more on other things rather than focusing on the truth, which is in Yahusha. Verse 22.
That ye put off concerning the former conversation that old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts.
All right. What are we saying? Put off concerning the former conversation. The conversation there means behavior. Concerning the former behavior, the old man. The old man is the old person. So our behavior is now going to be that of a different person totally, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. So the lusts that Babylon has programmed in us and has heightened with us over these years are going to deceive us and make us corrupt. So what is the remedy for that, Ephraim, in verse 23?
And be renewed in the work of your mind.
Be renewed. So the old programming has to go. Oh, you were saying?
Be renovated.
Yes, be renovated. And when you're renovated now, Ruach HaKadosh will come in and lead you into righteousness. Verse 24.
And that ye put on the new man, which after Aloha is created in righteousness and true holiness.
So when you put on the new man, you have renovated your mind. And the mind, as now you have been given the gift of Ruach HaKadosh. Now you are created through the Ruach Yahuwah in righteousness and true holiness, because you'll be programmed through righteousness and holiness. But I'm telling you, people, most of us in this world have not renovated our minds. We just started in Christianity and then we turned and we heard about the way and the truth. Some people heard that they are Hebrew Israelites and then we start and follow religion, start going back to commandments and everything. But we have not known the way, the true way. And so our minds have not been renewed. Or if it has been renewed, it has only been partially renewed. And partially renewed that our minds need constant renewing. And that's the last thing I think we're going to look at. All right? So let's look at the power of renewing our minds through Yahusha HaMashiach. The power of renewing our minds through Yahusha HaMashiach. 2 Corinthians 10, 3 to 6. All right? So we won't have much to go. So 2 Corinthians 10, 3 to 6. Those of you who want to go and rest. Read, please. We're going to look at this carefully. Read, please.
For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
All right, so though we are human beings walking in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh, which means flesh does not lead us in all things that we do in our interactions with sin and sinfulness. We do not use our carnal weapons, physical weapons, to war. And it brings us again to the end time people teaching, as we heard the other day. This just came back to mind. People teaching that we must get guns for these end times to protect our families and all. We do not war after the flesh. That's what it means. Yes, this is a new covenant, a different covenant, a covenant of emunah. And this emunah will make us depend on the Most High and be willing to suffer unto death for righteousness' sake. Because it is an emunah of, it's a walk of emunah where we believe that if we die, the Most High is going to make us rise again with Hamashiach. That's about it. That's it. Verse 4.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through allure to the pulling down of strongholds.
Mighty through allure to the pulling down of strongholds. Weapons are not carnal, not physical. Right?
Yes.
Not things that we pick up. Not our strength, our muscles. Now, verse 5 is very significant.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of allure, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach.
Now, this verse, very important. Casting down imagination. The meaning of imaginations there is computation, that is figuratively reasoning, conscience, conceit, imagination, thought. So every form of reasoning, every thought that exalts itself against the knowledge of allure. Yes? So this is the weapon that we have. Weapon that deals with the mind, the thoughts. And every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of allure, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. So every single thought has to be brought into obedience to the teachings and the way of Hamashiach. That is our weapon. Walking like Hamashiach, doing what he said, following him. That is our weapon. Not a gun or a knife. And when Hamashiach walked, we must remember when he walked without weapons. When they came to attack him, what did he do? He passed away between them. He ran, essentially. He evaded them. All right? When he heard that John the Baptist was beheaded, he left and went into the bushes, into the wilderness. He didn't stand up to fight them. So bringing into captivity every thought. So everything that we are thinking about, that is not in obedience to the way the Messiah lived, then that is outside of the will of the Most High. Verse 6.
And having in a readiness to avenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled.
To revenge. So which obedience is he talking about? When your obedience is fulfilled, which obedience is it? The obedience of Hamashiach. So when your obedience to Hamashiach is fulfilled, you are now ready to revenge all disobedience. How do you revenge all disobedience?
You don't render evil for evil.
No, yes, but not really. Really, but not really. You revenge all disobedience. You mean revenge, you go back and you do something. When you revenge all disobedience, it means your obedience will turn around all the wrongs that you did. So all the wrongs that you were programmed to do and think about, all of those programmings are reversed because your mind is now transformed. Yes?
Yes.
Your mind, your thoughts are now transformed. So your thoughts are now no longer exalt themselves against the knowledge of Allah, but they are now brought into the obedience of Hamashiach. And so all the disobedience that you had before, that disobedience is now turned around and you are now walking in full obedience. That makes sense, Ephraim?
Very beautiful. It makes sense.
All right. All praises to the Most High. So, if our minds are not renewed in Hamashiach, Satan can use us at his will. Because if we have not been so transformed, what is going to happen? We are going to have to use carnal weapons. We are not going to be able to bring every thought into obedience to Hamashiach. We are not going to be able to revenge our disobedience, which means we are going to continue in disobedience without our renewed mind. 2 Timothy 2, 24 to 26. And here's the danger. Here is the danger of all this. You see? 24 to 26. Read, please.
And the servant of the master must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient, in meekness.
So, no. So here's the thing. Most of us as teachers, and I've gone through my fair share of this, have an impatience in us when we see people speaking fallacies, speaking and teaching that which is wrong. Right? We have a kind of insensitivity towards them. I don't know. But it says we must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient. Okay? So, why should we be apt to teach and why should we be patient? Verse 25.
In meekness instructing those that oppose themselves. If Allah peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth.
Continue.
And that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will.
People, as long as our minds are not renewed, Satan can do and take us at his will. And I'm talking about people who say they're walking in the way and following the commandments. If our minds are not transformed, yes? If we are opposing ourselves, if we are in false doctrines, opposing ourselves, yes? Satan has you captive at his will. So if you're not born of Allah, and remember when we're talking about being born of Allah, it says, hereby you know the children of Allah and the children of the devil. And it says that if you don't love your brother, you are of the devil. Yeah?
Yes.
If our minds are not transformed, people, Satan can take us captive at his will. So whenever he wants to use us, he will use us. So that is why in loving our brothers, we have to be meek and humble and take our time to instruct them when they are in error. Peradventure, if Allah may give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth. So they're taken captive by the enemy. The enemy has blinded their eyes. They cannot see. So if they cannot see, how are we going to reach them? We have to be meek and humble and do not strive with them. Be patient with them. Be gentle with them. Peradventure, the Most High will just take away the veil that Satan has over their eyes so that they may see. Wow. Wow. Are you with me, Ephraim?
I am with you.
All right, so here is it. I think this is the last one now. Last category. Last thing. A mind that is constantly renewing can overcome all afflictions. So this is where we want to bring us. So we showed. What did we show? We show that we must be willing to give up our lives. We show that we must have counted the cost before, and we show that we have to deny everything in order to follow Hamashiach. Then we showed that the mind needs to be renewed. And then we showed you have to be born of Alua in order to renew your mind. And we showed how you can renew your mind. But we also now have to show that that mind being renewed has to be constantly renewing in order to overcome all that the enemy has to throw at you. Because we know from the reading of Adam and Eve, that the enemy does not relent. He does not give up. He takes a break and then he comes back at another time. If we are not constantly being renewed, we are going to let down our guard. And when we let down our guard, that is when Satan is going to jump right in. He never gives up, people. So only a mind that is constantly renewing can overcome all afflictions. And so we go to 2 Corinthians 4, 7 to 18. And this is where we should end today. 2 Corinthians 4. Did I say 7 to 18? Yeah.
Yes.
Read, please.
But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of Allah and not of us.
Continue.
We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair.
All right, so here's the
Persecuted.
thing now. Here's the thing. Who Yahuwah loveth, he chasteneth. All right? So when we are chastened, the excellency of the power of Allah will manifest itself in us. Troubled on every side, but not distressed, perplexed, but not in despair. So the walk and the true walk of a true believer, is one of trouble. It is one of trouble. But this keeps our minds being renewed every day. If the trouble is taken away from us, if the trouble is taken away from us, we are going to get relaxed. Jeshurun is going to wax fat and grow thick, and is going to go astray. All right? Verse 9.
Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed.
All right, so we see all of these negatives. Troubled, not distressed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. The Most High is still with us in our persecution. Cast down, but not destroyed. Always, verse 10.
Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Master Yahusha, that the life also of Yahusha might be made manifest in our body.
Hear this. Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Master Yahusha. So it is a continuous thing. Our minds are being renewed every day because continuously we go through different experiences. Different experiences teach us different things, new experiences, and we are perfected more and more through the different things that we go through. Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Master Yahusha HaMashiach. As we said, casting down imaginations and every vain thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Allah, and being in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when our obedience to HaMashiach is fulfilled. So it has to be based on Yahushua HaMashiach. All right? Verse 11.
For we which live are always delivered unto death for Yahusha's sake, that the life also of Yahusha might be made manifest in our mortal flesh.
You see this thing again?
Yes.
Living as HaMashiach lived, having confidence and boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we. People don't understand and understand the scriptures. This is what it's talking about, a life destitute, this is a life of a true believer. It is not as we were taught, people. For we which live are always delivered unto death for Yahusha's sake, that his life might be made manifest in our mortal flesh. That is why when we live like this, we will have confidence in the day of judgment, that as he was in this earth, so were we. Verse 12.
So then, death worketh in us, but life in you.
Continue.
We having the same ruach of Emunah, according as it is written, I believed, and therefore have I spoken. We also believe, and therefore speak.
Continue.
Knowing that he which raised up the Master Yahusha shall raise up us also by Yahusha, and shall present us with you.
All right. This is the resurrection of the dead. This is why we can give up and be like Hamashiach, because we believe this that he just said. Continue.
For all things are for your sakes, that the abundant favor might through the thanksgiving of many redound to the splendor of Aloha.
Verse 16.
For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day.
The inward man is what?
Is renewed, renovated day by day.
Day by day renovation, people. It's no stagnation thing. Renovated day by day. And it means that the word must make a difference in our lives every day. The word must cause changes in us every day. It means we're going to hear things that we don't like, that we don't. The things that we don't like is the best thing for us. As long as it is the truth. As long as it is the truth of Scripture, very uncomfortable, but it is there to give us life. This is no stroll in the park. This is not a stroll in the park, people, that we're going through. It is a giving up of our lives in this world, knowing that this world has nothing to offer us. This world is nothing but wickedness. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. He blinds the minds and the eyes of the judges. If not, where and who is he? The world is in the hand of the wicked. It is a world of wickedness. And we have decided we don't want to have any lot nor part with wickedness. So we have to come out. Verse 17.
For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of splendor.
Our light affliction. So, we say, okay, we flee out of the midst of Babylon. We don't have anywhere to sleep. We don't have anywhere this or that and that. It says for a moment. And no matter how we look at it, it says light. And you know why it's light? Compared to the exceeding and eternal weight of splendor that awaits us. It's going to be like a joke. When we see what is laid up for us and what awaits us, everything is going to feel like a joke in the end. Not now. It's going to be like a great burden right now. But in the end, it's going to show that it is a light affliction. And that it only passes for a moment. Because this life is like a whiff, woof, and it's gone. We are just here for a very short time. And we are making it appear as if we are here and will be here forever. And that this place is all that. It's nothing. When we read the book of Adam and Eve, and we see how we call this a world of darkness, and how he tried, even killed himself, not to be here. And we are here acting as if this is all that. Right? Paradise is where our eyes are fixed on. 2 Corinthians 4:18.
While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
Hey, that's it. That's how we end it. Advice to everyone, encouragement to everyone. Do not look on the things that you can see. Oh, look on this world and you see the flashy things, the pretty cars, pretty houses, pretty gadgets. What else people love in this world? Pretty clothes. What else? I said hoses already. What else people love in this world? I don't even know. What again, people love?
So much.
Much
What
money.
again?
Money.
Money, yes, money. Yes, money. We don't look on those things. We don't look on the things that we can see, but we look on the things because those things are temporal, they are temporary, they are carnal. They're only here for a time. Yes? When you die, can you carry that all of that money with you? The house, can you bring it with you? No. But guess what you're gonna bring with you? Judgment. Because every man will have to give an account of what he has done in this life. Yes? What are you gonna do? Be here living comfortable. And when it's time to give an account, hey, you cannot hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. No. Look on the things which are not seen. Because the things that are not seen are eternal. They last forever. So what we have here in this life is we have an investment. Here's the investment in this life now, as I see it. Our investment is giving up on this life. That's it. Let's give up on this and reject this. That is an investment in the time to come. But if you continue to invest in this life, then you have nothing laid up for the time to come. Okay? While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, for the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we have to finish with Romans 12, verse 2. Just a summary. And there we go. Romans 12, verse 2. Verses 1 to 2. I beseech you, therefore, brethren. I'll finish. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Allah, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, Kodesh, acceptable unto Allah, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, yeah. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed, changed by the renewing, the renovation of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Allah. Be transformed by the renewing of your minds. All right, so that is what we have here today on Just a Word. Wow. Just a Word Radio held out. Thank you, Mr. Internet Man. It wasn't so bad after all. The only thing that happened that the current went away, but it held out. Thank you, Father, for your mercies.
Wow.
And daughter. All right. So here we are. Finished. El Pedro, before you run, where are you, El Pedro?
Who said I was gonna run?
Yeah.
Hey.
You know, I'm having so much here. But here it is. We are very much grateful unto Yahuwah for all these teachings. We are privileged. But just as scripture says in the book of Luke, as he said, you know, those who are called, if we do not heed to the instructions, surely he's going to send his servants into the streets. They will call all those who seemingly are not deserving. We were much privileged to hear this message, to hear these teachings. This is what we call the grace of Yahweh. We did not deserve in any way, but by his grace, undeserved kindness, we came first to know his name, for he says in the book of Yeshayahu 52:6, my people shall know my name. We were privileged by him to know his name and now to know his instructions. So therefore, please, that we may be humble enough to submit ourselves by renewing our mind according to the scriptures that says we must be holy as he is holy. We must be perfect as he is perfect. We need to align ourselves with his will. And the only way we're going to achieve this is by applying the scriptures. We need to apply what we are learning. We need to apply the teaching that we're receiving. Privileged are us that are able to have the true teaching, to have the scriptures, to have the word from the Father. And then if we discard this word, surely we will be like those who refused when they were called into the supper. Therefore, please, brethren, may we be humble enough to say that privileged we are, being called by Yahuwah into his supper, and then we should remove every gown that is of a burden unto us, deny selves, and follow the way into the supper, so that we may be filled. May Yahuwah baruch us and cause us to follow his instructions in Yahushua HaMashiach. Yada Yahuwah.
Yada Yahuwah. It doesn't make any sense. We are hearing and not doing. All right? Will be like the seed that goes amongst thorns, and then it gets choked and becomes unprofitable. We have to hear and we must do. All right, thank you for that, El Pedro. Very, very potent warning there, or encouragement for us to do. All right, Ephraim, could you give us your 2 cents on it, please?
Yahuwah have spoken. Yahuwah have spoken. Now it's time to go and do. There is nothing more we have to do now. Because in Revelations 19, I believe it's verse 9, it says that blessed are they that are invited to the marriage supper. Yes, the supper, we are invited.
Yes.
Let's now go and do. The way I'm so scared right now, the weight is hitting me, and I really want to. I wish I can just keep quiet and listen and get to my corner and just do it. So family, let's just go and do. We've got nothing to lose but a whole lot to gain. Thank you.
Thank you. The marriage supper of the Lamb. All right. So let me get this thing off. Okay, so we have a question or a statement or something. Let me see what we have there. What's this again? I'm gonna have to. Oh, you can. Coming up there. Coming up. All right. Someone says here from the YouTube chat. Let me get myself out of this. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, the renewed mind. Has your mind been renewed? Getting this thing straightened. Okay. All right. The person said, I am in awe of how Ruach HaKadosh works. My daughter told me earlier this morning of a dream she had this morning concerning America. This dream, I believe, is connected with this message. She was eventually found by some soldiers. She said she overheard one of the soldiers asking another one what was to be done with the black people. And she said she heard him say, they are for the slave trade. She didn't know what the term slave trade meant, so I had to explain it to her. Now to hear Brother Kazak on this same morning with this message after hearing that dream, I know this dream is no more than a dream. She's 8 years old. Oh, well, I don't know what time of the message she was speaking about. Yeah, I don't know what time of the message. But hey, thanks to the Most High as He connects the dots. Okay, so where are we now? So, time for us to go. It was nice being here with you. All right, these for about what, 2 hours? Yeah, nice being here with you. I pray and hope that this word will resonate with you and that it will make a difference in your life. And was sent at 11:21. I wouldn't remember what I was speaking about at the time. All right, trying to get this thing disconnected. Why won't it move? Yeah, come on. Oh, here it is. All right, so Kazak Eliyahu here from Just a Word. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not. All right, please leave a comment and a like as well to help the algorithm so that you can help us to move in the search engine, all right? In the YouTube algorithms, all right? So, thank you once again. Hope you have a great day and please continue. There are a whole lot of other videos like this. If you have been here and watching to the end, we have almost 200 videos. Yeah, 190 something videos, about 95, 96, something like that about on our Just a Word channel alone. So everyone who comes here has all the food they need to seek unto righteousness, all right? And give thanks and praise to the Most High for allowing this to happen over the past few years. Thanking Him for being able to let us have this great library. All right, so thank you for coming and shalom until next time.